These guys are about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, possibly doing what no one else has ever done before.
Over 1,200 miles is some of the most scenic area in the world.
Riding Sea-Doos, they will travel the length of Alaska's Inside Passage. They're taking Sea-Doos beyond the lake and river on this ride, training for Alaska in the San Francisco Bay.
You get to see things that hardly anybody in the world gets to see.
The Bay Bridge, zipping past the tour boats at Alcatraz, the San Francisco skyline, and the very rare opportunity to see the Golden Gate Bridge from the water. The Sea-Doos reveal parts of California's hidden and inaccessible coastline, where wildlife is abundant and the landscape simply stunning.
But a gray whale came underneath my ski, maybe 5-10 feet underneath my ski.
In Alaska, some days they will need to ride more than 200 miles to reach Glacier Bay, not too hard on machines that can top 70 miles per hour.
Our Sea-Doos go very fast, but I think we'll be tempted to go very, very slow and see the wildlife and experience it.
For these adventures, Alaska is just the beginning.
And on their Sea-Doos, they have these little cameras mounted. They'll also be traveling with an HD camera, documenting the whole trip to hopefully produce some kind of an adventure travel show. And this is just the beginning. I can tell these guys are adrenaline junkies. So if everything goes good in Alaska, what's next?
Well, why not the Amazon River?
Why not?
Well, we go down the Nile, maybe the Valley of the Kings. I was thinking the Panama Canal,
okay,
the Atlantic, Pacific Ocean.
I feel a series of stories perhaps for KCRA coming up. Out here at Discovery Park, I'm Brian Hickey. Now back to you. This is actual video from Alaska. The Dangerous Waters Crew, as they're called. They're making this television show that's going to air on HDNet in the springtime. Get this, they're now 1,700 miles into this trip. The crew recently came home for a quick break and did some work on the Sea-Doos, and we talked to them about the challenges that lay ahead. These Sea-Doo adventurers have traveled more than 1,600 miles through the Inside Passage of British Columbia, then Alaska.
This is an expedition that's never been done before. It's not unlike climbing Mount Everest. There are stages, there are camps along the way.
Past icebergs and wildlife of every shape and size, some nicer than others.
A polar bear will stalk you. A polar bear will smell you from 30 miles away, and it will come find you.
On several nights, they'll be camping along beaches and rivers where salmon are running, the same places bears will be feeding.
How well would you sleep if you knew your buddy was on watch for 1,500-pound grizzly bears that might be rolling in through camp?
Bears will be just one of many concerns on the next leg of their trip that will take the Dangerous Waters Crew from Anchorage, Alaska, through the Aleutian Islands and on to Russia. A journey through the same waters where shows like Deadliest Catch are filmed, only they'll do it on Sea-Doos.
A local reality television crew is being held by the Russian government after crossing the Bering Strait on personal watercraft just like this. But they were headed into Russia in a part of the country where they're not authorized to be in. Folsom man leading the expedition tonight spoke to us from Russia, where he's being held. Folsom resident Steve Moll is an adventurer who rides watercraft in the open sea for a reality television show called Dangerous Waters. Friday, his crew crossed the Bering Strait from Alaska into Russia when the show took an unexpected twist.
We were greeted on the beach by a tank and 6 to 8 armed Soviet military or border control folks who detained us immediately. For more than 3 days now, Moll and his crew have been detained. While the Russian government has confiscated their watercraft and other equipment, they've been allowed to keep a mobile phone, which is how we spoke to him from Russia tonight. They're upset that we're here, there's no doubt about that. But they have their rules for this part of the world, and they're trying to figure out how these crazy globe-trotting Americans on Sea-Doo, number one, how we got here and they didn't know we were coming through their border, and what are they going to do with us? The crew is being held by armed guards. They await to hear from a Russian judge charged with entering a closed portion of the country. Here we sit, just waiting, not knowing, with our families worried, now the State Department's getting involved in some level, and the U.S. Embassy, there's a U.S. Embassy apparently about 900 to 1,000 miles from here that's now getting involved because it's their rules and we have to respect them.
Mull says that while they're being held against their will, they are being treated well, and they're hoping to be able to continue this journey, which is scheduled to go all the way to Japan over the next couple of days. Should make for an interesting episode, that's for sure.
2009, Kelly and I started the Fregoso Outdoor Foundation. We were looking at a different way to give back. And Kelly one day said, since I was in the military, why don't you take a few soldiers out on hunting trips? We want to reach out to them spiritually and mentally and physically and help them out. We met Stephen Mull, who is the founder of Dangerous Waters. He says, I want to take 4 soldiers on jet skis out to the bay under the Golden Gate and show them just a great time. And it's stuff like that that makes you say, okay, you get up, shake the dust off, and you look for the next adventure.